Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a short little knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Ketuo Ventr, at least that's how I'm going to pronounce it, V4. This is the premium version of the knife that utilizes a button-operated liner lock with an additional lock stop safety, which solves a lot of issues. This is a very underrated knife, and I think it's flying under the radar because it doesn't really have, it's not necessarily the most uncommon or special looking knife, right? Some people probably won't like the little lanyard thing, which by the way does come out if you pull it hard enough, right? But we'll talk more about that. But yeah, for the price, it's $179 for titanium and M390 and has a cool locking system with a reliable lock stop. And it's easy to manipulate. It's ergonomic. I mean, this thing checks a lot of boxes, and I think people are just kind of skipping over it. Yeah, I'll have this link down in the description. It's widely available, multiple configurations, and is coming in about $20 less than the typical competition for something like this. So I think that's pretty cool. Thanks so much to Ketuo for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. And make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. This is going to be a quicker review today because I've reviewed this knife before in its budget form, which is also available on the website. I think it's G10 and 14C28N. I don't know if they have updated that version with the safety stop, the lock stop, but if they haven't, they absolutely should. So anyways, let's go ahead and measure this real quick. Overall length of the Ventr is coming in, it's not a huge knife. It's coming in at, if you count it to the lanyard ring thing, it's about 6.85 inches. To the back of the frame is about 6.65, something like that. Blade length is coming in well under 2.75 inches. So if you have a 3-inch blade law in your area, there you go. And your cutting edge is 2.75 inches. Just a couple of size comparisons today just to keep things moving along. Up against the Spyderco Para 3 and my own Excalibur here, the compact Excalibur. You can see that it is not a small knife, but it's more of like the smaller side of medium. Here it is up against the Ontario Rat 1. And how about the Benchmade Bug Out? We can do that one too, right? How's the action on this knife? Well, this is a button-operated liner lock. And so you push the button, which is this big domed button, and it sticks up, but it's really easy and comfortable to use. You push the button and the blade will drop to about here naturally, which is about what you want, and then the rest of the way you can shake it or you can use your finger, right? You get it down, you can swing it closed perfectly. It's actually really easy, and the bearings on the inside are plenty smooth. You can also operate this the way that you would normally operate a liner lock. It exposes that liner lock there, so that's pretty cool. You kind of have the option as far as how you want to use it. Because this is actually a liner lock and not a plunge lock, it has an actual detent ball, which means it's very satisfying to deploy, breaking that detent there. Manipulating this safety over here, there is like a very, well, you can't do it in the closed position. There's a distinct click, and it goes into place. It's not like a floppy, sloppy, you're going to know if it's down or up. Engaged is up. But once we're in this position, you don't really have to worry. And this is not baton mode engaged. This is, hey, if you slip and accidentally run the back of the blade into something or whatever, right, it's not going to disengage the locking system. Right? We're good to go. That's great. It solves a bunch of issues. And honestly, I really wish that we would see more systems like this. This system can be improved. It's a little bit intrusive, whatever you want to say, right? It sticks up a little bit, and it's not really that big of a deal, but it just gives people peace of mind, right? In most normal circumstances, you're not going to be running stuff into the back of the blade. Most of the time, you're just going to be cutting open packages and simple things like that, right? But if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I'm going to try to use this like a knife, but given the circumstances, I may slip. Something may happen, and I just want to make sure it's not going to disengage. There you go. There's a thing on it, right? Some companies like Sierra KT have put these safety systems up here. I think they actually did a really good job with that. I'm surprised we don't see more of that, right? But this is all right. Where it is fine, and it's not too, it's not too much of a, you can feel it, but it's not really that big of a deal. So I like that that's there. Action is good. I'm happy with it. Let's do carry profile, thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. This guy is a little thicker, right? The titanium, you know, the thickness of the titanium does feel good. It doesn't feel too much. Length and height up against, let's just do like the Rat and the Para 3, right? A little bit more space taken up than the Rat 1. Not quite as tall as the Para 3, but a little thicker. In this case, we're looking at titanium and M390. And then some more titanium components here. Probably weighs in the mid to maybe high threes. Yeah, it's at 3.7 ounces. So 0.7 ounces away from what I consider to be ultra lightweight. Not going to complain too much. Balance is a ways back from the pivot, but the whole object is so light. Not really super concerned with that. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness. Blade stock thickness is coming in at 108 thousandths, so on the thinner side for sure. Hardware check, I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. This very small pivot screw is actually a T8, so that's fine. It's just awkwardly small. These other screws here are T6, and they hold in the standoffs that this hooks into, right? So I know that probably people's main concern with this is, isn't that what I'm supposed to hook the lanyard to? So if it disengages, like that means every time I pull it out of my pocket or use the lanyard, I'm going to like pull it up. Not necessarily. It takes quite a bit of force, right? So I don't know the exact purpose of this. I think this is an adventure. This is an outdoorsy sort of adventure-themed pocket knife, and I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I would venture to guess that the idea here is that it detaches when you really want it to, but you can keep the lanyard attached again when you want it to. It takes deliberate force to get that off of there, right? So not many situations where you're going to accidentally have this detached. Now, would I hook this on the back of a backpack with a carabiner or something and just rely on the tension here to keep the knife held on? I think in most circumstances, it would hang on. But if it's really getting jostled around, you can pull it off, right? I mean, it especially like at a certain, I think it's actually straight out that's the easiest. At angles, it's harder, but straight out, yes. So pull force here, I don't know. I feel like maybe whatever's, like on a slip joint. If 10 is like the heaviest and 1 is the lightest, like I feel like I'm pulling with the force of like a 7 or so. So yeah, I mean, people are gonna, feel different ways about that. But if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to attach a lanyard to it and put it in my pocket, oh yeah, you'd be totally fine, right? Because the pocket clip is holding it on your person. So there you go. You do what you want to do with that information. It will apply differently to a multitude of different scenarios. Let's see here. We've done the hardware check. Yeah, let's move on into meat and potatoes. I've talked about this before. This has got good ergonomics. This nice little shelf right here keeps your finger away from the edge. We got good jimping up here. Not incredibly bitey, but good enough to have traction. The blade is flat ground all the way up except for a little space up here, right? We have this like fat little, I don't know if we call this just like a stubby clip point. I don't know what you want to call it, right? But the edge is nice. I don't know how Ketuo typically heat treats their M390. I would hope that it's 60 plus. Something tells me that it's probably 59, 61, just like we see everything else, right? I would hope that it's a little bit higher. We might be able to see some data from Taylor down in the comments section if he has any. If not, hopefully some more in the future. This did fine for me. I don't do any extensive blade testing or anything like that. I carry and use my knives very, very casually. I don't have any natural scenarios where I'm going to be taking these things out and really beating on them. But in my opinion, right, regardless of whether I do that or not, in my opinion, the HRC hardness should be achieving 60 plus on M390. And I have to accept that topic in general is a little bit subjective, right? But yeah, it seems to be fine. I'm not having like any extreme edge fatiguing or anything like that. I always reference that Sativian knife that went dull. It was an M390 Sativian that went dull after like 10 passes through cardboard. That's an obvious sign of a bad heat treatment, and that was not the case with this knife. So anyways, good ergonomics, pretty plain looking, straightforward blade, but I think that's on purpose. The opening hole here looks good, matches with the frame, and is very, very easy to manipulate. It's a very satisfying reverse flick. And again, you can also thumb flick it if you want to. A little bit more tricky. I'm actually having more trouble with that than I thought I would. You can do, you know, your Spidey drop if you want to, or you can just pinch, open it, like wheel it out if you want to. So that's fine. Easy to manipulate. Some texturing here, light texturing, nothing too crazy. And I think this is flat, so no contouring, but that's fine. This little back thingy here, you can just like remove it. I pushed down on that thing and it disengaged. You can just remove it completely, in which case I can still get a full grip on it, but the back end is just a little weird. With this thing being attached with my hand, slipped there, my pinky sort of finds the initial part of that, and it just feels like an extension of handle. If you're not going to attach anything to it, I would expect this to literally never come off. I don't think that this is going to be, like, the amount of force required to remove it, like if you just want it to stay there for looks or for ergonomic purposes, I don't think there's any, aside from it like getting hooked on something and you pull, right? Which is unlikely but could occur. I don't think in any natural situation you're gonna, like, if you're just like casually seeing this, I don't think it's gonna come off. But it was clearly designed to come off, and if there is a specific purpose for that, I don't know what it is, right? It's not gonna be a purpose that I'm gonna utilize, but, you know, perhaps some of you or many of you can find, you know, a good use for this being detached, right? I have no idea. I'm gonna guess it's, you know, carabiner or lanyard being fixed in place or on something, and then the knife can be removed when it needs to be removed, rather than keeping it in your pocket, which that comes down to personal preference. So pocket clip, it's kind of stiff, and there's a lot of this sticking up out of your pocket if you have this thing attached. You pull this off, not so much, but the pocket clip is stiff, and there's not a lot of ramp here, so you're going to do a little bit of pocket mashing to get it in and out of the pocket in something like jeans or cargo pants, right? Heavy duty pants. In like walking around the house here in some athletic pants or shorts, not a problem, right? You know, because it's so flat and knocked down at the end, it's really not an ergonomic hotspot. I feel the little lock tab here more than anything. If you have this, can you engage this in any position outside of it being fully extended? No. The blade has to be fully extended and locked out in order for this to engage completely, in which case you cannot disengage that lock bar. It simply will not move over unless you apply catastrophic force to the blade, in which case the whole thing is just destroyed. So under normal circumstances where you're just using the knife a normal way, it's going to be fine. Lockout completely and totally solid with or without that additional safety. Stop pin is located right here. Closed position stop pin is located right here. You can kind of see in there. And then where that actually engages, I think it's back. Yeah, see, it's right here. Your little divot. So nowhere near here, right? We're good. Let's see here. No blade play up, down, left, or right. No lock stick, no pivot lash. Smooth and consistent in here. And a nice detent. Are we centered? That looks good to me. It's a good knife. $179. And if not, go with the budget one. Straightforward, recommendable knife, good design. It'd be nice to see more safety systems. It'd be nice that we, you know, if we saw, you know, just better consistency with geometry and reliability for these locking systems across the board. But an added safety feature just for peace of mind, I think, is welcome, even if it is slightly less comfortable. Because the reality is, I can feel it, but it's not uncomfortable, right? Recommendable knife. $179, I think it's fine. Or go with the cheaper one. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.